Thank you. Naikuni, Gregory. Nayalu, Pukaja Mulapa, Nayalu, Annabella Rankalinani, no, that Minty. Nayaku Jamu, Buvarana. So I come from my great grandfather, Jamu. He comes from Buvarana. I've lived out in Central Australia for a few years and can speak the language. Jack talked about the industry of the white fellas in relation to the Aboriginal community. Totally so. I wrote a paper while I was the government business manager out there to a Senate inquiry, which I wasn't allowed to attend, but I smacked on my hand for doing so because I was a government employee, but I still did it because I felt for it. So what happens out there, just so people understand, is that the community out there with their stores, they are run by white fellas who have a pretending Aboriginal directorship to it, who they pay $200 to attend each time. Of course, the Aboriginals are welcome to that, those that receive the $200. At the end of the year, this is a multi-million-dollar industry in one community. Remember, all their money just goes to that community itself. Each family, the 40 houses, was given $1,000 each for Christmas, in which it was given to them a purchase order, which they're only allowed to use at their local store. So there's your commerce in its greatest section. The person who owns those stores lives on the better beaches of Adelaide in a multi-million dollar building. That's one. That's the industry. In relation to the government's interest in the Indigenous people, I did believe it once. I worked for two Prime Ministers, by the way. I worked for Mr. Cork and Mr. Keating, and as one of their security, so I lived with them day to day for a couple of years. I understand the politics. While I was out in Central Australia, just a very quick story, and a lady died, an elderly lady with Alzheimer's died because of a fire. A person was sent out from the government to inquire about. This is a very short story. That person flew to Ayers Rock from Canberra, drove from Ayers Rock to where I was, Docker River, which is 300 kilometres on a very dirty road, stayed 40 minutes to have a look at the problem. This is the junior minister of the person that Jack mentioned, and drove back. The director of health from the Northern Territory came down from Darwin, was part of the entourage as well. 40 minutes they spent at the facility. She wouldn't take, now I've given the gender away. That person would not drink the tea or coffee that was offered. They would not take the sandwiches that were offered by the staff there, who were white staff in a beautiful industrial kitchen. They got in the car, drove back to Ayers Rock, and on the way back they opened up their packages of sandwiches they got from Uluru. Okay? That lady who drove and worked at Uluru and didn't get a drink on the way, and didn't even get offered their food. This is a person whose party is that I used to work for. So that to me was a disgrace, and I don't think the two members that I formerly worked for would have agreed with that, would have done it, they would have been shocked to know that actually occurred. This is the first time I've spoken about this in public. I have spoken to other people about it. The second thing, and I think that all the people here need to understand is, in relation to the referendum, what it meant. What it meant to be an Aboriginal before the referendum. And I'll just talk about one man, and that was Captain Reg Saunders. Reg Saunders was an Aboriginal soldier. He went in the First World War with his brother. His brother got killed in New Guinea, died in New Guinea. Reg went to Europe, flew into Crete. He was isolated in Crete and got out of Crete all right. He returned back to Australia. He was made a sergeant, a non-commissioned officer. He was then sent to New Guinea, where he fought in the battles of New Guinea, where his brother actually died. He came back to Australia, got out of the army. He then rejoined for the Korean War. And this is where, when he came back from the Second World War, he was a sergeant who commanded troops. He was not allowed to go into the same hotel that the troops that he commanded and have a drink. That's what we've got to remember about what it was like before. To walk down Adelaide before 1966 with an Aboriginal person was a crime. It wasn't just something you shouldn't do, it was a crime. So when Reg went to the Korean War and fought in one of the biggest battles that Australia's ever known at Kapyong, he was made a captain. And how did this man become a captain? He had to go to the Governor-General, and the Governor-General had to pronounce him as an Australian, because before that they were under the Flora and Fauna Act. People have got to remember this was a great transition, and we as Australians, white people, maybe should hang our head for a little while, but we should also realise that this is what it was like for these people before that. So Reg, to become a captain, had to become an Australian. And even when he came back, he still couldn't drink in the same pub.
Thank you very much for the story, which certainly contributes to